Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and The Encyclopedia. And welcome because
this Saturday, Cleveland rocks for SummerSlam. And let's not forget about
Dude. Hey,
Dude.
Are you really doing a Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon talking about some women? Mm-mm.
Look, even the devil won't go there. No. Mm-mm.
Really?
Back it up.
It's in my official capacity as Reverend to save you from your.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode where we're going to have a live confession from me with the Reverend. You'll hear it live. And then all of a sudden, the guy that got morals, the other guy, the devil's advocate, I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Only one.
Morals or limits?
Only one moral.
By the end of this episode, he might be in purgatory, folks.
I've been there. It's kind of boring. All right.
By Walmart, right?
Yeah. Walmart.
All right. So we got SummerSlam this weekend from Cleveland. And on top of that, we will have our picks and analysis. And I'm sure we have a lot to say about this weekend's card. But there was also some other interesting stuff that was going on. First off, on the AEW side, really. So I'm going to pass this over to Rob, the devil's advocate. Rob, where should we lead off here tonight?
Well, I wasn't invited, but Tony Khan and Shane McMahon apparently had a meeting. Now, what they were talking about, I don't know. But a lot of speculation going around about Shane McMahon maybe working for AEW. In what capacity, I don't know. I know I saw Mercedes Moné was taking credit for the photo. A lot of people were giving her flack for that. Like, why would you take credit for that? Stay out of it, whatever. But so, I don't know. I mean, I think we might have touched on this a few weeks ago, but for those who missed the show, my concern, and I'd be definitely interested in hearing what my two compadres have to say, is I really don't want Shane McMahon in an on-camera role anymore. I would be more than happy to hear what he has to say backstage. I think AEW, the one thing they're really lacking is somebody who's got some knowledge on how to run a show, maybe has set up some angles, and I'm sure Shane McMahon can help in that area, but I really don't want to see him as an on-camera guy, and I definitely don't want to see him in the ring. The last time he was in the ring, it was an embarrassment. And, I don't know what was going on there, how he was pushing himself so hard and, top of the card and all that. And nobody needs to see those fake punches anymore.
That wasn't his last time in the ring. Last time in the ring is when he blew his ACL.
Right. Well, you know what I'm talking about, when he was throwing all those phony punches and, those poor guys had to sell for him. And
yeah,
accidentally tagging folks too.
Right. Yeah.
Should we share the quote from Shane on this whole incident?
Go for it.
Tony and I were connected through a mutual friend, and we had a great meeting. We talked about many things, but mostly about our shared love for the business and the rewards and challenges of working with family. I congratulated him on the 5-year anniversary of AEW and look forward to how he evolves the business moving forward. Based on that, I don't think there's anything going on here.
Well, if there is something going on, they're not going to tell you or us.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they hint?
If there's nothing to tell, maybe everything's kind of in its negotiating phase, and there's really nothing to say at this point.
I think if there's money in telling, they'd tell. But in the meantime, there's probably more money in teasing than having any actual story to go with it. Like, the picture getting out, like, that's not a leak. That's them wanting people to see this picture, clearly. Like, that doesn't get out unless people want it to get out. So it gets a little bit of buzz. And I think that it's going by that there's no such thing as bad publicity mantra. And in this case, hey, it's not terrible publicity. And it's better than Tony Khan at Comic-Con last weekend. So,
So in what capacity, if Shane McMahon was to join AEW, would you like to see him?
I think something definitely on the business side, not on in front of the camera. I think he understands producing television at this point. So I think he could add something to that. Like, so he'd probably be in for some consulting thing or help him get a media deal, like on that end of things. But I don't see him doing anything else. Like, he's not going to train anyone. He's not, he's just gonna. I think it would just be purely on the business side.
Okay.
I don't want to see him involved, honestly. I really don't. I don't see what he really gets out of it. I mean, if he really wants to stay in the wrestling business, then okay, fine. But I did see a theory that maybe it will turn out he's the financial backer for the Elite in this war up against Tony Khan, which I guess is something. Like I said, I'm really curious how the AEW fans would take Shane. Do they really want him? I don't know. I mean, maybe 10 years ago when he could actually go in the ring a little bit, maybe he would. I mean, he fits that style, no selling, jumping all over the place like a Mexican jumping bean. But now I don't see the big deal. But then again, they shocked me this week. I mean, I heard them chanting for Brie Bella. I'm sure Rod threw his remote through the TV when he heard that. But yeah, I don't want Shane involved in AEW. I don't think it's necessary.
Can you imagine how bad Brie Bella would be in the ring now, considering how bad she was back then?
She had her moments, but towards the last few times, she's got to be consistent to get a decent match out of her. That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, she's no Nikki.
Are you trying to piss me off? Are you trying to get me to go on a rant? Because I'm halfway there.
He doesn't want he doesn't want you getting any closer to him than purgatory at this point. He's trying to send you back the other way.
Oh, talk about the Bellas. I'm there. I got some venom for those two.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
the other
the other AEW news is they announced this week that Bryan Danielson is putting his career on the line in his title match versus Swerve. And at first when I first read about it, I was like, oh, interesting. And then I actually saw the interview. I don't know. I really hate these stipulations. I really do. I don't know why it just bothers me so much. And I mean, it doesn't even make sense because if he wins the title, I thought he said he was going to retire. So if he wins, is he going to give the belt up immediately? Or is he going to continue to wrestle? So it doesn't make any sense, even what he said.
He said he was only going to go full time for one more year, and that was in mid-September. So he still has time. But we've heard it on Dynamite last night and the week prior. I think it was said the week prior. His contract's up. So
right.
I mean, if you go by the 1 year from when he announced it, he's still got time, and maybe he's on a per appearance deal. But for all intents and purposes, otherwise, he's not technically under contract. Like, today's it. Like, we're recording Thursday night. It's 11:15 in the evening. 45 minutes. He's free and clear.
So is he wrestling on a handshake deal, I guess?
Or per appearance. That's my guess. He seems like an honorable guy. I don't think that's the issue. I wonder, because they've referred to the fact that he's been cleared for this one match at All In, at least at this point. They're not sure, I guess, beyond maybe. But basically, he's been kept out of the ring. So I'm wondering if this neck injury is bad enough that's why he threw the stipulation out there. Like, he still had a month to go, but maybe the thought is, I only got one match left in me. Doctor might not clear me after that. Let me go all in, no pun intended. And if that's my last hurrah, that's my last hurrah. But I don't think the stipulation was necessary. I feel like this is a stipulation you throw out if you've lost to someone several times and you just want that one last crack at them and you're willing to put your career on the line to get it.
You know, Hangman, maybe? Like Hangman Swerve?
Maybe. I could see that. Or there's such a hatred between two people, and the only way to settle it is somebody's got to go, like Macho King and Ultimate Warrior back in the day. I mean, granted, that didn't last any longer than 6 months in the end, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in this case, the fact that he did it and said it, I was scratching my head like, wait, you guys have barely had any more than a few interactions. Where is this coming from? Like,
And now on Collision, he's fighting Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett was supporting him.
That's interesting.
So I'm like, why are you mad at Jeff Jarrett? Jeff Jarrett was saying how much he admired you, and like, they had the way they had it set up. They had an interview, and he was like, you Brian, you really got to push it. You got to,
Yeah, I saw it.
Right. And then he comes back and he's like, that's the way you do it. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass on Saturday. And I'm like, huh? What just happened? Wait a minute. Did I miss a segment of the show? I don't know what's going on right now.
Does anybody on that show pay attention to what they're doing as far as scripting and developing storylines? Because they claim their storylines. I see very few and far between. Some, very few and far between.
There are guidelines.
I was gonna say the women.
I don't think there are storylines. I think there are guidelines. Like, don't kill anybody.
I mean,
don't use the F word.
The two women's title matches at All In are probably the only two that closely resemble some sort of a storyline.
Oh, I thought of something I wanted to bring up. I wanted to ask you guys.
Are we done with this then?
Yeah, I guess so, right? I mean, what else are we going to say?
I do want to, before you get to your topic.
Go ahead.
Did Stokely really tell Willow to slap him? Like out loud during the broadcast when she grabbed him? Or am I the only one that heard that?
I'll be honest, I wasn't paying that close attention to that match.
Oh, no. Okay. It's possible the mic picked it up.
He was. It was as bad to me. It was as bad as when Ken Shamrock told Ryan Shamrock to smack him.
Or maybe he just likes being hit by women.
Maybe
Stokely is a freak like that, So.
I know. All right. The question for you guys: did you guys have any opinion about? You saw the cage match last week on AEW, right? And you saw Jack Perry take a chair shot to the head.
Oh, well, he was suspended.
Yeah. Anybody have any issues with that? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Because I thought it was interesting that in that match they would go there. And I saw online there was a lot of criticism. A lot of the other wrestlers, so like I think it was Bully Ray who criticized everything, but in this case he was like, I can't believe they went, and he couldn't protect himself. It was like a clear chair shot to the head. Couldn't put his hands up to protect himself. Nothing. And I'm wondering, do you guys think that opens the door to future chair shots, or do you think this was a one-off and we won't see it again for a while?
I don't think this is going to be a one-off. I don't think you're going to see it consistently, but I'll be honest with you. I think this was a spot that the Young Bucks suggested just to get people talking. I really believe that's all it is. Because I think they like to spit in the face of authority and common sense just to get a rise out of people.
Common sense.
Hey,
common sense.
How else do you describe it? I mean,
isn't Jack Perry the guy who wanted to cut himself up through a car window?
Yeah, that's what he and Punk got.
Oh, Real Glass, right? Cry Me a River.
Yeah, a real chair, Cry Me a River. I don't know. I don't think it's opening up. I don't think it's opening up anything new. It's already been there, especially in that company. It's been there.
Sean Spears and Cody Rhodes.
Sean Spears became the chairman. I mean, it was an errant shot in the way it ended up landing on him. It wasn't supposed to hit like that. But then he became the chairman. So they leaned into it on that show. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of new people who think they have to do that kind of thing. At least I hope not. I think on average, by the time people are getting the TV contracts, they're a lot smarter and have a better understanding of how to protect themselves in their future career and their post-wrestling careers. So I don't think it's going to be anything new. But it is, again, one of the many, many reasons why I didn't think that should have been a TV match. People should have to pay to see that happen.
If you're going to hit me in the head with a chair, you need to pay me.
Yes, there should be a real good payoff.
Here's a soundbite.
People should be paying tickets for that. It's I wouldn't give away that chair shot on TV.
Well, I mean, they gave the whole match on TV, so the chair shot's just icing on the cake. I was just curious. I meant to bring it up last week, and I totally forgot. I wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts, because I was wondering if that opens the door now. Because I know, remember, we saw the memo a while ago about you had to get permission to do certain things. And I don't remember chair shot to the head being on that list, because I thought chair shots to the head were just, that's over. We don't do that anymore. And then when I saw him, his arms out like that, I'm like, they're not going to hit him in the head. And he hit him in the head with the chair. God, he couldn't even put his hands up. Like, I hope he got a bonus check for that, because that was a wicked shot. You know, it's one thing to get hit in the head with get your hands up. There's another thing to get a full chair shot to the head, you know, without protection.
Well, we got a bonus check and somebody to read it for him.
Yeah, somebody cash it for him. Somebody drive him to the bank, because he doesn't know he can't remember how to get there.
I doubt there was any bonus check involved, honestly.
Yeah, probably not.
I think this is a big, hey, look what we did. Hey, talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. The last topic that we were going to talk about before we get to our picks, I think we're going to analyze. We're going to spend a little time analyzing SummerSlam. I think we've got some thoughts. Mercedes Moné, you know, the criticism that she gets, not about her ring work, but about her mic work.
She doesn't get criticized on her ring work, really?
Not as nearly as much as the mic work. People will.
Fair.
I remember
Except
this
for
guy.
when she came back with the move.
The very person that just said, "Oh, I don't hear." We don't hear much criticism on her match work. Wasn't he the same one that said Stephanie Vicaire carried her through that match?
All right. Well, wait a minute. I'm one person. I'm not the entire wrestling community.
Oh, I thought you were representative of everyone. You were always right.
Well, that may very well be true, and it is. But in this case, I'm speaking about the masses, the unwashed masses, such as yourself. She gets way more criticism on the mic than she does for her ring work. Especially lately. Seems like since she's joined AEW, people are getting all over her case about, you know, how they let her talk too much and she has nothing to say. And one of the people who jumped in on the hit parade is Jonathan Coachman, and from what I've been reading about him, is he really does not like AEW at all. A lot of his articles are criticizing AEW for this, that, and the other thing. So I'm no surprise that he's criticizing AEW, but in this particular scenario, he decided to go after Mercedes Moné. And I'll paraphrase for everyone. You can look it up online if you want to see exactly what he said. But he said, they gave her creative control. She said, when I'm on the movie set, when I want a private jet, Tony lets me use whatever I want. Well, no wonder she didn't last in the WWE. Why would she ever get a private jet to use? Which I don't believe is true. But if he's that stupid, then that's on Tony Khan. But to say she's the biggest sign they've ever had and she's the best diva or whatever, she's terrible on the microphone. It takes 2 seconds to listen to her to cut a promo. And the other day, Britt Baker just ran circles around her. So basically, that was the gist of it. He was saying that she's horrible with promos, that they're totally exposing her because she can't do promos. And the interesting part about that is she commented back, right? A lot of times you see the criticisms come and you don't see her respond to them. But for some reason, in this case, she decided to respond. And again, I'll paraphrase. I've been dealing with this kind of stuff for over a decade. I'm used to it. But I'm kind of annoyed at these dumb old dudes in wrestling coming at me. I know the only reason they're doing it is because my name makes people click on their links. My name makes news. I'm sure it's hard to see a young woman know and receive her value, and not to mention make a lot more money than they do. So when I brought this up earlier, the good Reverend threw out the thought that maybe she's doing it in character.
I'd hope.
And I don't know about that, because part of it reads like character and part of it reads like true life.
There was a part of that, didn't you say, like, oh, my name makes news and news, or
news makes money.
News makes money, but she spelled it
M-O-N-E,
as her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if when you start talking about yourself in third person character, I'm like, okay, there's some work going on. Like, there's some playing to the crowd, and there's some Like, I don't really care, but I'm gonna do this to try to enhance my brand and push that character a little more and do something. I don't know. Either way, it's just such a weird thing because I don't have anything against Jonathan Coachman, but also, who cares what Jonathan Coachman is saying about you? So, and that's not to say as him as a human being, he's just been away from wrestling for so long, and not for nothing, before having any things to say about AEW, had nothing kind to say about WWE or the wrestling industry on the whole. He just comes off as kind of curmudgeonly when he talks about it. So him going after, it's kind of low hanging fruit going after um, anything in AEW right now because they make a lot of mistakes openly. But he does seem like an angry old man sometimes.
I agree, and
But
and you said low hanging fruit is definitely a comment I could agree with.
yeah,
And
it's not that he's wrong.
And
But
before I throw it
also,
to the encyclopedia, the only other thing I want to say is I don't know why you would respond to critics. Like, to
of
me,
all the critics,
who cares? You're making the money. You're on TV. Do your thing, right? I mean, I've said it more than once. I don't think she's good on the mic. I don't think she's really good in the ring either. But what does that mean in this scheme of things? Nothing really. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. So I don't know why you'd respond. I always find it interesting, even on a bigger scale, when celebrities respond to like some troll on Twitter saying something. Who cares? Geez, go about your business, do your thing, or get off social media if you can't handle the criticism.
or at least create a burner account.
So,
Kevin Durant,
encyclopedia,
create a burner account.
any thoughts on any of this? Coachman, Monet, anything?
I think it's fully in her personality to argue back. I think if she's heard too much about anything, she usually complains. I mean, look, she walked out of WWE because she didn't like where things were going. So we're really that surprised?
We're going back to
I
that because I think we've all come to understand that was probably a little deeper than a spat about like what we're doing with my character.
the
Like, that
story.
seemed like there was a little bit more than
No,
I don't
no,
like today.
they no
And two
they
people walked out.
they said it was building up. It was based on what was going on backstage with the storyline and where they fit. Like the story, I'm not going to rehash the story. It's out there. I'm not relating it to that. She has gone after people before when she doesn't agree with them. This is nothing new. Um, my bigger problem is we keep saying Monet, but when she's cutting her promos, it's money,
It
money. She's
is
saying
Monet.
money. We've all been saying it wrong.
Monet.
I mean,
It
every
is
time I listen to
Monet.
Conrad Thompson, and I'm guilty of it too, he says Monet. So I was saying Monet, and then every time I listen to her, I'm like, man, we are all saying it wrong.
Her
Can we say
first theme music in AEW wasn't that? Didn't it have her name in it and it said Monet? I feel like that was her theme song when she first showed up had that, and I was like, she
Yeah,
should have
and
kept it so
now,
people would say it right.
yeah,
But
now she
nobody's saying
hijacked,
CEO.
and now she hijacked Gunther's old theme. So whatever.
It's not CEO, it's CAO.
To L.
What the hell?
The other thing I'll never understand is you never give an active wrestler creative control. It never works out. I don't understand. I wouldn't do it. It
Say
didn't work when Hogan had it. It doesn't work when she has it. You don't let the wrestlers decide who they get to win and lose to. It should be a collaboration.
the
I don't.
majority of AEW are people with creative control, and you can't convince me of otherwise.
Well, if that's true, then they're running it wrong.
I
Well,
mean, everybody can't have
duh.
creative control in that respect, like who's going over and all that stuff. Like, I get it to character. You might want creative control to decide, okay, I want to try this with my character, but I don't think everybody gets a chance to decide who's winning and losing, especially when your EVPs are all in the ring.
I mean, that's
Like,
a whole other issue. Active wrestlers running an organization never works out either, as we're going to find out. But I don't know. I'm wondering in like 5 years from now, are we going to be talking about AEW as a great experiment that failed? or is it just going to continue to plod along because Tony Khan's just going to continue to funnel money into it?
The latter.
You think so?
We still talk about TNA. It's still around somehow.
But
I mean,
TNA has gone to the depths.
It did. That's what I'm saying. It does
it's come
fall
back around.
Yeah.
And look at the NWA. The NWA somehow is still chugging along.
Yep.
But the NWA got Billy Corrigan, and TNA got financial backers.
Years later, though.
That's not all they got. Say his name and he appears.
If you believe.
I believe.
So we'll see. All right. Any other thoughts before we move on to our SummerSlam picks? All right, I'll take silence as a shut up and
that was
the first match.
Boy, you barely gave us like 2 seconds, bro. Come on now.
Did you have something to say?
No.
So
I did. I was answering for myself, not you.
Okay, before we get kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he'd be happy if everybody plays it.
I'm confused. I bought it off Amazon. Never mind.
All right. So SummerSlam is being held where?
Cleveland.
And who's the host?
The Miz.
The Miz, because he don't wrestle.
I mean, he was just tag team champion.
But how bad is it that you got The Miz, you got Johnny Gargano, both Cleveland guys? Neither one of them are on the card as the match.
I read something that said that the tag team titles have not been defended on a pay-per-view in I don't know how long. I can't remember the exact. Yeah, since WrestleMania.
Wait, they're not defending the tag title. Gargano and Ciampa aren't.
It's on SmackDown.
Neither set.
It's on SmackDown.
No tag team title matches on SummerSlam. Not one.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. So let's start with our first match. We have the U.S. Championship. We have Logan Paul against LA Knight.
Did you hear he got himself in trouble?
Yes.
Yep. I ain't touching that subject with a 10-foot pole.
Me neither. I did watch the boxing match, but that was as far as I went.
I read about it, and I was like, I don't know.
I think there's more to it than what most people think, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
There's always more to it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I agree with you.
So, do we finally feel that they're finally going to give LA Knight the push he's probably needed for the last year? Or are we going to let Logan Paul, who's only defended the U.S. title 3 times?
3.
I think I read 3.
Oh, I thought I heard 2.
All right. Well, either way,
I'll check ITB.
Not many times. So,
how long has he had it?
A while. I think he's the 3rd longest champion.
Jeez.
The 3rd longest United States champion, which is sadly pathetic.
Shame.
So, I'm going to go with LA Knight. I think they're finally going to give him the push that he probably should have gotten 6 months ago.
I'm going with LA Knight out of hope.
Out of hope.
Out of hope.
So you got Encyclopedia.
Yeah, sorry, LA Knight.
All right. That's across the board what everybody's saying.
I called it a while ago that LA Knight was going to be the one to topple him. Go back and check the archives, folks. You probably got to go back to the sold out days. Just letting you know. 2 title defenses.
Again,
2 title defenses.
KO at the Royal Rumble, and then against KO and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That's good. That's it.
Not many.
Not many.
And we were complaining about Brock and Roman. This guy beats that record, and nobody seems to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a shame too. The title should be defended way more often. They let him hold it hostage. All right, the next match, we have the Intercontinental Championship. We have champion Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker.
Bronson Recordslider. Let's go with the real name.
So, I mean, Sammy beat him last time.
Beat him clean.
I don't see Sammy beating him again.
I read somewhere that the Rick and Scott are both going to be in Cleveland this weekend as well.
Ooh.
I read somebody predicted it's going to be a squash.
Hmm.
That Breaker's going to get him as soon as the match starts and just pummel him and beat him, and that's going to be it.
Oh, maybe it's even one of those, he's unable to compete situations. Therefore,
No.
winner.
What I read is he'd get him right as the bell rings.
No, that's what I mean. Just like beat the crap out of him until he can't compete, and the ref has to stop it. I'd love to see a ref stoppage.
Well,
didn't we just get one?
Yeah, they did that with Ilya.
Yeah. Although I still don't know if that was. I'm pretty sure. I was pretty sure he was knocked out for real. Yeah.
No, he sells that well.
God.
Yeah, he was fine from what I read.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's impressive.
So I guess we're going Breaker across the board.
Yeah.
So the next match.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I got a question.
Yes.
Do you think them ending Sami Zayn's reign this soon, which is what's it been, 4 months? After taking Gunther's reign, do you think that that officially cheapens the Intercontinental title to and undoes all that work Gunther did bringing it back up?
No, not necessarily.
Because I don't have a problem with Breaker becoming an Intercontinental champion. I just feel like maybe Survivor Series would have been the ideal time. So at least the title still has that prestige.
Then they either should have left Breaker down in NXT longer, or they should have kept him away from Sami Zayn longer.
I thought they turned him heel too quickly, honestly.
I mean, I think they could have tied him up with some other matches
and
set it up for Survivor Series, and that would have given Sami a nice long reign. But since they didn't do it this way, and he barely got past him the first time, I don't see him losing again.
Yeah. By the way, you notice WWE now, for the biggest American holidays of the year, they get out of the country. Because Survivor Series is in Vancouver.
Oh,
Money in the Bank was in Toronto.
Yeah, right.
So I joked with my wife. I said, WWE's taking after you, honey. Tries to get out of the country whenever there's a big U.S. holiday coming.
Kind of sucks for the wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, I guess they could still do Thanksgiving and still make it to the pay-per-view because it's not till the weekend after. But yeah. No Black Friday shopping.
No. So the next match, we have the Women's Championship. We have champion Bayley versus Nia Jax. So there's a couple matches on this card that I'm not I have to give them credit because I've been complaining how predictable all these shows have been.
Amen.
And this one I think has a couple of matches where you can make arguments either way. And I'm up to this point I'm still not 100% sure who I want to pick in some of these matches.
Same.
And this is one of them.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
I could see Bayley winning, right? I could see Nia winning. I could see Bayley winning and Tiffany Stratton come out and cashing in her Money in the Bank and winning the title. All those scenarios, I think, are feasible. It's just I don't know what they're going to go with. Bayley's reign has not been great. I've been disappointed. Her matches, she has not shown. Since they turned her face, she's not interesting anymore. And I love Bayley. It's just it's like the watered down version of Bad Bayley, and I don't like it. So, she doesn't look good in her match. Like she's barely her title matches. She's barely getting by. She's not. You know what I mean? I'm not feeling like they're booking her well at all. So what I guess what I'm torn between is Nia gonna win, and then Tiffany's gonna use that the Money in the Bank to threaten to always cash in, or is Bayley just gonna get by and Tiffany's gonna come in and I don't know if they're gonna break up the Tiffany Nia whatever they got going on thing right away. That's I guess where I'm stuck. So I don't really know where to go with this one. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's
an
interesting problem. It's an interesting problem because I don't think Nia needs the title right now, just the way she's been. But also, she's a very reasonable.
I mean, this is the best run of her career, right?
Yeah. So it's almost like, oh my God, how could she not be champion during this run?
And then with her Stratton holding that suitcase, kind of makes I'm going to go with Nia, I guess. I don't know.
Just think more. What do you think, an encyclopedia?
The problem is, I see we've all predicted 2 title changes already. And in hindsight, I could see another 3. I don't think they're going to change 5 titles. So which ones do I think? It comes down to which ones I don't think there's going to be a title change. And I think the first 2 we got it nailed. I think the next 3 matches, 3 of the next 4, or the next 3 title matches, we'll say. I think those are the questionable ones. I think I'm going to go.
I didn't come up with that one.
That was my thought, because I was saying to myself, geez, you're going to potentially have 5 title matches if you go by, like, going. If you asked me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have hands down said, yeah, Bayley is definitely losing the title. I'm not so sure now, but I think I'm going to stick with Nia retaining. Sorry.
Winning.
Nia winning.
Yeah. And Rob, I'm sorry, what did you say? So I could make sure.
Nia.
Okay.
But I might change my mind between now and Saturday. I'm still thinking about it.
I mean, look,
I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm going to give you a scenario.
Before you do, and part of the reason why I'm willing to go with Nia is Tiffany tried to cash in at least once, and Nia kind of gave it a look. So I think there's more to the story now where if Nia wins and Tiffany's kind of looking over shoulder, wanting to cash in, and Nia's like looking at her like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think there's more of a long-term story there than if Bayley retains.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically where I was thinking, right? I was thinking there's more to the story if Nia wins.
Yeah.
But
I feel like no matter what, somebody's going to get knocked out with that suitcase, that briefcase. That's how the match will be decided. But I could see Nia winning it. I think, I'm going to go for Nia.
Okay. I think it could go either way, honestly. I could be talked out of either one.
Yeah, it could go either way. And I think it's because of Tiffany Stratton. I think that's what makes it possible to go either way.
Yeah. Okay, so the next match, we have the Women's World Championship. We have Liv Morgan champion against Rhea Ripley. Mommy.
I think we all predicted this last week.
Yeah, I think we all think Liv is going to retain, right, on some kind of shenanigans from Dom.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I don't think there's... I'll tell you what. I'm always... With Rhea Ripley, I'm always torn because she looked great last week, but I really hate her tattoos. I really do. And I was like, I didn't realize she had so many. Like, they're all on the legs and the stomach, and I was like, something about her I love. But then I'm like,
not a body art fan?
No, not really. I mean, I know I have a couple, but I like my women on the cleaner side. So
that's a lie.
No, I mean.
You mean
body
actually,
art
like
wise?
You mean literally?
Okay. No, we're talking something else completely.
Sorry, my bad.
Encyclopedia, you not updating the sheet, or do I need to do it?
You could do it.
Okay.
Doesn't have to just be me.
All right. Well, I didn't want to take over your role because you have the cursor right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're all going Liv Morgan here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I almost feel like it's not eerily similar where there's going to be an injury involved, but it kind of reminds me of when Ivory defended against China the first time at that Royal Rumble, and nobody thought Ivory had a chance in hell. I feel like it's the same thing here. I don't think it's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be an injury thing. I think I think we all know Dom.
I mean, I don't know if Dom is going to actually go full turn, or is he going to try to play it off as like it was a mistake?
Yeah.
Bumbling Dom.
They're going to drag it out a little bit, right? So
bumbling Dom.
But either way, I don't see Rhea coming out of this. And again, I don't see another title change. Another good point. by the
I
encyclopedia.
think it's only interesting if Liv wins. Otherwise, it's
I mean, if
just
Liv
cuts
doesn't
everything
win,
short.
it's got to be like a 2-second squash,
Yeah.
True.
right? And Rhea just has to come in and just destroy her in 2 seconds. So they're not going to do that. All right. The next match, maybe the most interesting match on the card, no titles involved. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And Seth Rollins is the guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did say SummerSlam in the opening. We're going to go back to 1997 all over again.
Now, I was thinking of I was thinking of a scenario that could occur, but then I was thinking it'd probably make more sense if there was a title involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking Punk and McIntyre going at it, and all of a sudden Seth Rollins, as the referee, decides to make himself a participant in the match and pins McIntyre. Like McIntyre's down, Rollins suddenly puts himself in the match, hits him with the stop, and pins him. And it comes out of the match like, I won, I beat you two guys, I'm the best, I'm the visionary, I'm the, whatever, rotisserie, whatever he calls himself. And, that leads to some three-way man matches. But then I was like, that would make more sense if there was a title on the line, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're going
or at least
back
like a
to
number one contendership.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're going more along the lines of, I think Anthony brought this up, the Shawn, Undertaker, Bret Hart scenario where Seth Rollins is going to cost somebody the match. And I think I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre.
You think he's going to cost
I think McIntyre's going to
CM
win.
Punk? Yeah. Okay.
Because McIntyre has been taking it on the chin this whole time, right? Nothing's ever gone his way. So I think he needs the win. And I think Rollins is going to cost Punk the match, and then that's going to lead them into a series of three-way matches, I hope. But I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre in this scenario.
I could see that because I think if you're going with the Rollins is going to cost somebody. We've been watching Rollins and Drew McIntyre for like the first few months of the year, the end of last year, so they've been fighting a lot already. We have never seen Punk and Rollins,
right?
Like at their current state. Like, I think maybe once when the Shield was new, we saw them go one-on-one. That was it. So I think that's the better story.
And I think Punk can absorb a loss.
Punk doesn't have to win a match.
Right.
I think Punk just has to work with people and look good and somehow manage to stay healthy or duct taped together long enough.
Staples and glue.
Finish his contract. Yeah, I think I'd agree with McIntyre. I think that's the way to go. Also, Rollins can't really contend for a title right now, so yeah.
Why can't? No,
he can.
They killed it. They killed it like that episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Don't worry about it.
Gunther.
Yeah, and that was a small blip in the storyline where he thought he wasn't going to be able to get a title shot ever again, and he was pissed at CM Punk. And then Damian Priest basically said, when I get by Gunther, I'd be honored to give you another title shot because you're right, that wasn't fair. And I'm like,
right.
So Seth really has no reason to be pissed at Punk based on what he's explained. I mean,
right. That motivation's gone.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
One of the few blips on the radar, right?
So, Encyclopedia, your pick.
I agree with you guys.
Okay.
I like Punk. I'd like to see Punk win. I'll be honest. I'll just be happy if Punk gets through this match without an injury.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that.
Because with AEW, when he got injured and came back, I didn't really have that concern. I know some people did, but now at this point, I'm like, God, if this guy gets injured again, he's really snake bit at this point.
Well, do you think, just on a quick side note, do you think guys like Edge or Adam Copeland and Punk need to alter their ring styles to kind of prevent getting injuries, or do you think injuries are just part of the game at their age and they're just going to have to fight through it?
Punk got hurt just doing regular stuff.
Yeah,
He
I
wasn't
was
even
going to
doing
say.
anything crazy.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
he's-
Punk's. Sorry, go ahead. No, I keep interrupting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say he got old man hurt. Like when you sneeze after 40. Like when you
How old
reach
are you?
Huh?
How
I was
old are
going to
you?
say.
I'm 46.
Okay.
Trust me, I know all about old man hurt.
All right. No, I'm just saying because I was about to take offense, but then you're kind of closer to in my age, Bragg. You're getting closer to me.
Yeah.
So,
I know
He's
you
actually.
got a different class of old man hurt,
yeah.
but but I know mine, and it's always doing the most normal thing. That's when like my back goes out or something.
Yes.
So that's
Preaching to the
Punk's
choir,
thing.
my friend.
Yeah, that's Punk's thing, and it takes longer to recover from certain things. Punk ain't jiving off the top of any cages.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know why Adam Copeland thought that was a good idea.
I think he said
Considering
it.
the injuries
said
he's
why.
had and things like that, like it was unnecessary.
I think he said why. I'll give him credit for admitting it too. That was ego 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you got as you get older. I mean, you and I both know as you get older, you got to change the way you do things. Like now,
Yeah.
when I'm finding like I'm going to move furniture or something, I got to warm up a little bit first. I
Yeah.
can't just run over and grab something. I got to make sure that I'm not, like I had to move 6 couches today down in my basement, and I had to make sure like I stretched my legs out a little bit. And I turned my back a couple of times just to make sure I wasn't.
See, like that, I'd get hurt. Like that.
What, playing the violin?
Yeah,
Like
playing the violin, I would throw out a shoulder. Like, and the doctor would. That's what the doctor would ask me. Oh, did you stretch? You should have stretched, because that's the medical marvel that
All right.
helps us.
All right,
I
so
tell
far
you.
over. Okay.
I tell you, I should probably be stretching more, and I stubbornly don't.
Well, you know what they never tell you about that is you can get hurt stretching.
That too. That's too.
What they should tell you is, as you get older, you should hire younger people to do stuff. That's what they should be telling you.
Oh, I've been doing that. I've been doing that since I got married.
All right. So the next match for the World Heavyweight Championship, we have champion Damian Priest versus Gunther. And this is another one of those matches where
Go either way.
I'm not, because are they going to have Gunther win at the next show, which is close to his hometown, his homeland, or are they going to have him win now and have his do his first title defense near his home? And
I'll give you one.
Go ahead.
If that next one ends up being a triple threat, because I think we just talked about Seth Rollins no longer having the stigma of that.
Gunther first.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but
so
if
you
Seth
could have that triple threat there.
Yeah, but if Seth is screwing somebody out of the Punk McIntyre match, Seth ain't getting back in that title picture.
Yeah.
Fair,
He's wrestling
fair.
whoever he screws, right?
Fair.
Normally Becky, but in this case, some other scenarios.
Took me a second. I'm like, wait, did I just hear that?
That's why I let it sit there for a minute, let it marinate. I figured you guys would catch on in a minute. I wanted to leave it there. I got the disapproving look from the Reverend, which I absolutely love, and I got a laugh from Encyclopedia, which I absolutely love. So I'm good. Let's move on.
Oh lordy.
So I'm really torn on this one because a couple weeks ago I would have picked Gunther, no problem. But they have done a pretty good job of making Priest look like a badass the last few weeks, and kind of putting him up on that same level where Gunther is, where he's not taking his shit, and he's fighting back. Like I would have thought Gunther just would have ran right over him, and they're not doing it. But is it Gunther's time? Or is it Gunther's time a month from now?
That's the question, yeah.
And what would have to happen in this match for him to justify a rematch in his neck of the woods? That's why I guess I'm thinking Gunther's gonna win. maybe Priest gets a rematch. Because I'm trying to figure a scenario where Gunther would lose and still then get a match.
Well, the next show is Bash at Berlin.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
if Gunther loses here, what's the justification to get a match?
I mean, he could lose and put the beat down on Damian Priest. He could lose and if you want to start getting some splinters in Judgment Day, maybe start fracturing that group a bit. I don't know if when Imperium's coming back anytime soon, but I could see
not.
that. Are they done?
Well,
I think that's what we're getting.
What's his name is injured and the other guy is gone. So Gunther is by himself.
Yep.
In the vein that you just brought up, there were two things I want to say. Number one, the encyclopedia's point about are we having another title change? Maybe not, because we're already predicting 3 other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, is this the beginning of the end of the Judgment Day? Does Finn Balor cost Damian Priest the title? Interference, backfire. But then we're talking about the same scenario with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, so we're going to have the same thing happen twice?
Good question.
So I keep talking myself in and out of my picks. Because when I pick Priest, I go, no, I can see where Gunther would win. I pick Gunther, I see where Priest would win.
I'm picking Priest.
I'm going Gunther.
That's how you got to do it impulsively.
And I might change my mind before Saturday.
We should just give a live feed of this score sheet for the next couple of days. Just watch all of the names keep changing.
I will go out on Twitter and say that I changed it so everybody knows.
Do you even remember your login?
Of course I do. I hate the encyclopedia.
It's auto-filled.
Encyclopedia. It's so funny. God,
That's what it used to be.
You
but
say
now
that.
I hate the encyclopedia.
You say that, but we all know it's auto-filled. Come on. You let the browser autofill.
You're an old man. You use one password. You don't know what your passwords are. One password tells you. That's how I live my life.
It autofills with I hate the encyclopedia. It's no problem. Okay. Are you going to make your pick or are you going to sit and look at your phone?
Oh, is it that obvious? Gunther.
You're not going to give us any reason why, or you just...
No, you guys really covered it. I was listening. I don't think every match where the winner's obvious, like based on previous history with how they build pay-per-views, I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore. I don't think Priest's title reign has been that successful. I really don't.
It hasn't. I don't think they've booked him well at all.
No.
I think he's been weak. They've made him look weak. This is the first time I've actually felt like they made him look strong.
Yeah, that's fair.
It started with that Braun Strowman match. I mean, you get a clean win like that on Braun Strowman, you look stronger.
I'm not sure, like Bash at Berlin, if you have Priest win, which is what the good Reverend thinks is going to happen, I mean, how do you explain the rematch? I guess that's the thing.
How far away from that are we?
A month.
It's at the end of the month. It's Labor Day weekend. So it's like 4 weeks.
I think you picked Priest because you're the Reverend. I think you guys stick together.
I mean, it could be, how many times has Priest been frustrated because Judgment Day gets involved after he tells him not to? You could tell that story again here too. So I could see it either way. But I think this is a case where I don't think you wait till Berlin to do this. I think you do it now.
I agree. All right. The last.
By the way, if you look at our picks so far, not only have we across the board, except for this match, agreed, but for the most part, at least the encyclopedia, myself, and the Devil's Advocate, except for the U.S. Championship, we went all heel.
I still don't know what Priest is.
Well, he's heel turning face.
I think he's tweener right now.
Yeah, but he's going to go face.
Yeah.
He and Rhea are going to be the good guys in this scenario, and the other guys are going to be bad. All right, last match. Universal title match. Cody Rhodes, champion, versus Solo Sikoa.
Sikoa.
Coca-Cola. Anybody think Solo's got a chance? No.
Do I think he's got a chance? Yeah. Do I think it's happening now? No.
Yeah, he's got a chance. I mean,
anybody feel like Cody's reign is kind of
No, I think Cody's reign followed one of that was just spectacular and looks more and more spectacular the further we get away from it. That's what I think happened to Cody's reign.
And I think Cody's reign is Shawn Michaels' first title reign.
So do you think anybody that would have followed Roman would be suffering the same fate?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he can do about it?
Not really. And also, I feel like we're talking about how it comes across on TV. Because people still go see him.
I think the problem was they didn't really establish any challengers. I mean, God, if you really want to go far enough back, Solo Sikoa was in a massive losing streak after he beat Cena. He didn't beat anybody. He's really only come into his own recently. And as far as Cody goes, I mean, Cody, yes, he had that banger with AJ Styles at Backlash, right? He had, better outing than we would have expected, except the fact that just because it's Logan Paul, you usually still get a good match out of the guy. I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
No.
And then we replayed an international incident in your house with the 6-man where Cody had to lose. So Cody, supposedly Cody's merchandise sales are through the roof. He's doing all these charity appearances like on the level of John Cena. So he's become the company man. I think if anything, it's to blame. It's that they didn't really build up any great challengers. I think if this was Gunther versus Cody, then there's more of a question of whether Cody would have gotten out by this title defense.
Very true.
Because it's Solo. And because, there's the Roman factor, a lot of people think Roman's going to be back. I don't know. Right now the deck is stacked against Cody. There's no KO and there's no Orton. They're both injured.
Right.
In storyline. So who's going to help Cody?
There's a new Samoan every week, so you never know if someone's going to show up to screw him over. Yeah.
Are you guys surprised at how many people are not on this card? We don't have either set of tag team champions.
That bothers me.
We don't have, like you said, Orton, and I know Orton and Owens are hurt. There's a lot of people. I mean, you could name, there's no Bianca, there's no Jade.
That's also on SmackDown.
Right. There's no Io Sky. There's no, nobody like that. This card is.
Oh, Damage Control, I guess, was written out for a bit.
Yeah, Damage Control just got back. So, and it looks like they're going to end up feuding with Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark, which it's weird because it's like two heel factions. But the tag title matches, honestly, I would throw them on the kickoff show. I mean, look, Jade and Bianca against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. That's not a pay-per-view match. Throw that on the kickoff.
Fair.
Gargano and Ciampa. Look, if it was Gargano and Ciampa against, if it was Team DIY against Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, then yes, I would have put that on the pay-per-view. Because they seem, for whatever reason, it seems like they're afraid to run the gambit with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa as a tag team. I think they've had like one match as a tag team. And weren't they known for being like big tag team?
They won the IWGP tag team titles like 10 times, I think, or something like that.
Right. So why are they hesitant to keep these two as a tag team in WWE? It's weird to me. If it was the two of them,
the bloodline, they're not looking to get the tag belts for whatever reason.
See, I think that would make them at least, and it would be a nice lead-in because now it's like Solo could say, "I got the tag team champions, and tonight I'm going to become your world undisputed universal champion."
Yeah, I think part of what made the bloodline work was that at one point they had gold all across, so they kind of would have to get back there again.
Have they written Jimmy Uso out? Is he hurt or something, or is he just not around?
They took him out in April.
Okay, so he's just on the sidelines right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors that he might get involved too.
Right. Well, I can see could you see a Survivor Series match with the Usos and Roman and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
maybe Cody against Solo and his team?
I think we'll see another Samoan thrown in there to join Roman's squad, but
Mhm.
I get what you're saying.
We'll find you another one. Don't worry. There's another one around somewhere.
Well, I think they already signed another one. That's
They
what I
did.
read. Yeah, and then so we said, so those we got that out of the way. Yeah, and I guess the Raw Tag Team Championship, they haven't really established a number one contender there, truly. So
No, not yet.
I
don't think they did.
No. Who are the tag team champions now on Raw?
Finn
Judgment Day.
Balor and
Finn
Balor
and
and
right.
JD McDonough.
They beat Miz and
Mhm.
right. Yeah.
That could have gotten the Miz on the card, even if it was in the kickoff. So that's the other thing. Have you noticed the kickoff show no matches anymore? I kind of missed that.
Commentary.
Yeah, I agree. It's at least give one. At least give us one match.
Maybe they're trying. I mean, what do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Seven.
5, 7 matches. Maybe they think that's enough.
This is a longer card than they've run for at least the past few.
They do the big events, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Those two, they usually, it seems like they'll do the 7 matches, and this one's supposed to start at 7. I would not be surprised to see it go till 10:30, 11 easy.
Do you think the Big Four should be 2 nights?
Well, that's coming.
Like SummerSlam 2 nights, Survivor Series 2 nights.
Yeah, we're rehashing topics here. We went through this recently. Yeah. I think the only one I think is questionable is Survivor Series.
I wouldn't mind Survivor Series if you were getting traditional Survivor Series matches on one night and then War Games on the next.
I think they need to stop calling it Survivor Series if you're not going to do a Survivor Series match, personally. But I could see Survivor Series staying as one. If anything, I could see Money in the Bank becoming a 2-nighter, and you do the women's on one and the men's on another. Anytime that you got a men and women's match, of the same type, especially the Royal Rumble. I mean, we used to love the Royal Rumble, but now it's such a chore because it's 2 Rumble matches to get through.
Yeah, they end up rushing certain parts to get things done rather than let the matches.
Yeah,
the Royals like it's nicely paced, but when you have 2 of them, you gotta have to. At some point, like there's 3 people in the ring, we gotta throw some of these people out.
Yeah, we've had people over the last couple of Royal Rumbles, and it just happens to coincide with around the time of my wife's birthday. And we get through the first Royal Rumble match, and there's a few people that are like, "Oh, I want to stay and watch the end with you. How much is left?" I said, "Well, there's another Rumble match." Wait, the one that just went an hour? Yeah. No, I'm out.
Good night.
It's too much.
Yeah. All right, so just to finish us off here, we're all picking Cody, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me ask you before we sign off here.
Oh.
What would you main event with? Is it Cody and Solo?
McIntyre.
I agree.
Yes.
I would do that, depending on who's going to be doing the running on the Cody match. If it's Roman, I think that's one that you would have to wait till the end of the show. But otherwise, I would do Drew and Punk.
When's the last time they main evented with a good grudge match?
Rarely.
Well,
they strike out on that all the time.
Rock Hogan was not last.
Nope.
It should have been, but it wasn't.
Right.
No, Michael's Undertaker was not last.
The second one was.
Yeah, the second one was 26. It was, and it really should have been 25. 26 was not as good as 25.
I always like 26. I think I like the build up to 26.
The build up was fine, but the 25 one, if there's always that age old question, like if you're trying to sell someone on becoming a wrestling fan, what match would you show them?
25.
I would say Undertaker, Shawn Michaels would be my number 1. Number 2, and I know Rob's going to cringe when I say this, is Bayley Sasha Banks at NXT Brooklyn.
No, I've often said that's one of the better matches, and a lot of the lists I've seen agree. So I'm not arguing that at all.
All right. Now, if it was Mercedes, Monet, and Bayley, he'd be like, "No, fuck that."
I don't think her ring skills have improved.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think she's got to get rid of that finisher. You can't do it on big people.
It is a terrible finisher. It just looks awkward.
It does. Anyway.
Because she's so skinny. I want to see skinny people doing that.
She should be doing submission wrestling.
Yeah.
The bank statement.
It was a great finisher.
Which she should rename it as the Moneymaker. But I think that other move is what she calls the Moneymaker now. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
And she's back on the market, folks.
Okada will be happy.
Jeez. Are you saying she's got Asian fever? Because I don't think. I think her ex-husband.
I would never say anything like that.
I
3
don't
months
know.
before my next trip overseas.
I think I heard something.
I'm just saying they teased backstage there.
You better start with the Hail Marys and the Our Fathers.
Yeah, folks.
Okada was the one wiping his brow, man, all nervously there.
Yeah, folks. Jason's gonna switch to Buddhism by the end of the year.
Buddhism?
Yeah.
Buddhism.
I mean, I would switch to that if that's an option. I guess that's a fair enough one.
Mm-hmm.
But then I mean,
and then again, he does like a good crucifix. So I was thinking maybe,
And honestly, folks, we got to say Rob gets shortchanged on the show because he's been champion, but Freddie never sent him the belt. Jason picked up a shirt for him in Japan, but they haven't seen each other in person to get never. So he still hasn't gotten a shirt. He's gonna have 2 trips to Japan before he gets you the one from the first one.
Well, no, maybe I can go exchange it for the right size.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll see if they're running another show at the same place.
So Freddie hasn't sent me anything. The Reverend hasn't sent me anything. The only one left out is you. It sounds like you need to promise me something and not deliver.
I give you stuff. That's the problem.
Well, you're just messing it up for the rest of us.
I don't know. All right.
Actually following.
I was about to drop the F-bomb, but I think we're actually been curse-free this show. So
I said shit.
On that note.
Oh, now I've said it twice.
What?
I said shit. Now I've said it 3 times.
Well, some people don't consider shit a curse word anymore.
It's on South Park.
That's 4.
All right. On that note, no more shit from us. We thank you guys for watching. That was some good. That was some good shit. Oh shit! I just did events again. Oh shit! I did it again.
Shit.
So check us out on the Sports Frenzy podcast on YouTube. We are the Good, the Bad, and the Encyclopedia. We are not on audio anymore. Sorry, folks, but there's only so much time I got in the day to convert all this stuff. We thank you guys for listening. Check out OTBS. Check out another wrestling podcast, and we will talk to you guys next week. Have a great weekend, all.